see all these athletes now who are young, low 30s, mid 30s, that still have a lot of stuff in the tank, and you can see it, and they're awesome players, and then they're like, it's so overwhelming, I can't take it anymore. There was a quarterback, Andrew Luck, played for the Indianapolis Colts, less than a month ago, a couple weeks ago, right, the season started on Thursday, he was like, he told the team, like, I'm not playing this season. He just came off the best season of his career, and he's like, I can't do this anymore. I'm too stressed out. I can't play. I need a break. And it's sad because you see, like, he's a good player, good career, but he's, like you said, he's just so burnt out and can't take it anymore. And people just need a break sometimes, you know? And I've heard a lot of people say that you just have to kind of start thinking of yourself, accepting yourself before you start focusing on other things and accepting others. But teenagers have a really hard time with acceptance, with all the pressures and changes that are going on. So how do we begin to accept ourselves?
I'm going to answer also that last question on depression, anxiety while answering this question. I think I can get them both together. I think what happens is that our models, or what we perceive to be the right thing to do, or the way we need to live our life, is at a level of perfection. And if we're always putting ourselves to a standard of perfection, we're always going to be failing, because I don't know anyone who's perfect. I don't know anything that's ever worked out just 100% absolutely perfect. And the thing is that we need to be comfortable with our imperfections, as well as those things that are our gifts and talents. And learning, being mindful and taking in the good is learning those things. We have to learn about ourselves. We need to learn, how to accept both the talents as well as the things that we consider flaws, our perceived flaws. I just wrote a blog for my new book that just came out on self-harm. And I wrote that if you're not engaging in self-care, you're engaging in self-harm, because even if you're not, if you're not in an egregious harming behavior, meaning you don't have to cut yourself. You don't have to have suicidal ideation or thoughts or feelings. You can be harming yourself with your thoughts. You can be harming yourself when you aren't engaging in ways to take care of yourself, which I consider self-care. And the thing is that there's a lot of thoughts and feelings that come before someone actually gets to that point where they cut or feel like killing themselves or others. Yeah. And the thing is to start identifying those thoughts that come before it, is the triggers that often when you want to hurt yourself, it's not because you just feel like hurting yourself. There's a reason, definitely. It's not like just, I'm just going to randomly hurt myself. Yeah. Someone hurts themselves because they're in pain. They're suffering. And the thing is to unpack that, unravel that, to go backwards and look at where that came from, to look at the thoughts that come before a behavior of such as, to think about the feelings that are before that, or think about who are the people, places, things, or situations that that often lead to wanting to hurt yourself or others, or to cutting on yourself in some sort of self-harming behavior. Yeah. It's really important for people to take, again, that mindful pause if they're feeling like they want to actually do something more egregious that is really harmful, like what we're talking about, is how do we take that step back? And to answer that, and another way to answer that last question you had about depression, anxiety, and the rise of those, as well as some of the self-harming things that you quoted, I think something like 70% of teens. What is that quote you said? 70%
of teens say that mental health is the number one issue they face.
And you said something also about suicide being the second leading cause of death among teens.
Among minors, yeah.
Among minors. I mean, those numbers are staggering.
Yeah.
You know what? Here's what I hear. I hear teens are saying, I'm hurting, I'm suffering. And what that means is, instead of talking about the problem, let's get into a solution.
Yeah.
I believe the solution is the things we're talking about. I believe the solution is those positive coping skills. A lot of the things I hear you talking about are things I've just unpacked in my years now, like in the last decade. Like a lot of the things that I hear you offering on your talks, a lot of the things that we are talking about, I didn't know when I was your age at all. Yeah. I didn't understand them. Social emotional learning, what was that? Emotion regulation, all these words. I was like, what? And the thing is that a lot of times people think that teens such as yourself don't get this, and I completely disagree, because that's why I created this program, is that I do believe that teens need it, get it, and can really, learning at this age can really change the trajectory of your young adult life and life.